everybody, I'm Liz, this is French Toast and Books, and today I'm here for my February TBR. Now, February is a notoriously difficult month for me to read because one is a shorter month, and two happens to be my birthday month, so I get really busy. So we'll get right into my TBR. We have a book I definitely for sure plan to be reading, and the 5 books that I picked randomly off of my unread shelves. I have other books I may or may not read, especially with it being Black History Month. I might pick up some books particularly that are Black authors because all of the books that were randomly selected off of my shelves are all white authors. It was not in my cards. Today, unfortunately, also stems from the fact that most POC authors that I purchase, I read a lot more quickly. So the first book I am currently reading and plan to keep reading in February, if you watched my wrap up, then I definitely talked about this, and that is Infidel by Ayan Hirsi Ali. And I definitely plan to keep reading this. It is a memoir autobiography about her life growing up in Somalia and then Saudi Arabia, and then fleeing for asylum in the Netherlands and all sorts of other stuff that happens to her. I knew it was going to be very difficult, heavy on the religious trauma. One thing I didn't expect is it's very anti-religion, particularly anti-Muslim religion. I did not anticipate that going in, which is very jarring and a little bit irksome for me. But we'll see how my thoughts and feelings change as I continue to listen to the audiobook throughout the month of February. Now let's dive into the 5 random number generator books. First we have The Husband by Dean Koontz. I have a collection of Dean Koontz, all unread. I collected them off the side of the road. Oh, how long has it been? Probably, it's been between 7 and 10 years ago, if not maybe 12 years ago, and this happened to be one of them. I unhauled quite a few that I decided I was not interested in, especially when I tried a chapter and read a different Dean Koontz book and I really disliked the writing. I'm hoping this is different. We'll find out. If not, then maybe I'll be DNFing and unhauling this at the end of the month. We'll find out. The Husband takes place where somebody has kidnapped our main character's wife and is given the main character 60 hours to get $2 million as a ransom, even if he can't do it. It's basically the money or his wife's life. Next we have The Alchemist, The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel by Michael Scott. I got this book years ago. I don't even know how long. It's been on my shelves that long. And I really want to try it out. This is the first book in a series, and we have basically a lot of background with Nicholas Flamel and his life history and mysterious absence of death, or at least absence of a body in his grave. And it goes into how maybe he actually created a philosopher's stone and he's immortal, and there's a book that says how he did it. This book gets stolen, and it says in the wrong hands this book has the power to destroy the world, which is exactly what this doctor who steals it is intending on. And 2 of our main characters, Sophie and Josh Newman, are going to find themselves in the middle of the greatest legend of all time and attempt to save the world. Next we have What We Devour by Lindsay Miller. This book has recently been on my shelf because I received it for Christmas, just past Christmas, and I heard a lot of buzz about it, so I'm really excited to dive in and see how I like it. It sounds pretty interesting. We have our main character, Lorena Adler. She has the power of the gods hidden within her, and she intends to keep it hidden and live out a mundane life. However, that doesn't come to plan when the crown prince finds her, and her betrothed's father is actually sentenced for a crime. And basically Lorena decides to switch places. Say, you leave his father alone, and I will serve you, the crown prince, instead. And so the crown prince makes that deal, give her betrothed's father a fair trial, and will use her powers and her services to push back an evil and give more power to his kingdom. Then, if you caught my little snippet during my anticipated February releases, you would have noticed that I had a little Easter egg in it, because I talked about Furyborn by Claire Legrand, because Claire Legrand has a book that either came out January or is coming out February, because I can't remember exactly the date of the release because I did a duo month for my anticipated 2022 releases, and unbeknownst to me, right before I started filming that video, I picked my TBR for February, and it happened to be this one. So the interesting thing about the story is it takes place in 2 different time periods, 2 different millennia. Specifically, we have Rael in the post timeline, who can wield and possess 7 different types of magic, or all of the 7 different types of magic, which is really only feasible if she is a prophesied queen. And so she has to undertake these trials, which either leads in her success of these trials or her failure, which ultimately leads to her death. And then the next millennia holds Rael as this sort of myth. And then our next character is a bounty hunter. Her name's Eliana. Her mother gets kidnapped, and she has to go through severe lengths to rescue her. And in doing so, the stories of Rael and Eliana intersect and interweave into this very interesting and fascinating fantasy story. The next book, I really didn't think I would get to it so quickly, and I am so not ready for it, in the sense where it's very intimidating. Now, Furyborn is a thick book, but Empire of the Vampire is even thicker. It is by Jay Kristoff. I am been so excited to read this book for years. When he initially pitched it back in, what was it, 2019? Whatever year was the year that I met him in person. That year. He pitched it to us as a group, and I just completely fell in love with it. I needed this story to happen, and so I was so excited, but its release date kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. The main premise of this story is our main character is a vampire hunter. This world is overrun by vampires. He gets captured by the leader, the empress of the vampires, and is questioned about his life. A lot of this is pitched as basically, if you know, like Dungeons and Dragons or other tabletop games, he is a paladin. But by the end of the book, he is a paladin who has broken all ties with his deity. So paladins get their powers and their success and their revere from their deity, and when they break off from the deity, they become this kind of desolate, depressed, angry, powerless person. And so it was a very interesting pitch. I'm very interested to read it. I've seen artwork posted on social media with this book, but it's just so daunting because it's so huge, and I didn't think my random number generator would do me so dirty by making me read this so soon. Is it feasible that I can finish this book in February? No. But I am definitely going to try. I cannot get my hands on the audio for it, but I did get my hands on the ebook, which might help me a little bit if I decide to read at night, so that I'm not holding this book, this massive book, in my hands. Anyway, there you have it. There are 6 stories for me to read in February. This is obviously not an exhaustive list. I might pick other books or what have you. I just have to try those 5 from my random number generator on my shelves to see if I'm going to keep the story, read it to completion, or keep it for another time, or DNF it and send it on its way, unhaul it, so somebody else can pick it up and enjoy it. Let me know in the comments down below what you are most excited to get to in the month of February. What book is on your TBR, or what are you currently reading? And until next time, know that I love you. Bye!